There's amazing local products, which some of you might not believe they are really local. They're really high quality products, high quality materials, and excellent workmanship. You can go and have a look, buy some stuff if you wish. They're amazing products made in Ethiopia. In particular, for this special gathering, you can find a lot of stuff and souvenirs. So make sure you don't go away before you visit this place during your 3-day stay, including tomorrow. It's so amazing, as you can see. It was visited, officially opened and visited by the guest of honor, His Excellency, the Deputy Prime Minister. Once again, this session is on digital finance for SMEs, whereas the one at the Hadassah Hall will be building digital. We have to start now, as we're looking forward to an arranged city tour. Very exciting tour. We'll have a 30-minute quick tour of this amazing complex. Lunch as much as I did. So we have only one last session for. Allow me to introduce the model advisor for the economic reforms and technical work. Ms. Samarita began her career over 20 years ago in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where for 7 years, countries in Asia and the Middle East. Mrs. Samarita's passion for improving children, organizations, and international development partners, including the Jerusalem Children and Community Development Organization and the Christian Children's Fund of Canada. Ms. Samarita holds a master's degree in journalism and communications and a bachelor's degree in political science and international relations. Ladies and gentlemen, State Minister of the topic and the panels. Your Excellency, I leave the floor for you for the next 1 hour. Thank you again.
For rural SMEs, integration, digital and financial inclusion along the agricultural value chains, a topic that's very important for Africa and for Ethiopia as well. The digital, Africa will position itself to unlock the potentials of the digital space, to create decent jobs for Union's agenda of 2016 economies, particularly rural and agricultural sectors are very critical. So today's session will be formative data source, tailored credit products. So we see a very strong and robust growing momentum across several countries. Distinguished panelists, President of the Development Bank of Ethiopia. She leads the country's, one of the biggest and impactful financial institution. This institution, as government, we claim to be a policy bank. I would also like to invite. This is one of the first interest-free banks in Ethiopia, and many might be surprised that it's quite recently where she has advocated for inclusive financial system, development bank, board member of the AI Digital cross-border growth, member of the AI Digital Tool, cross-border growth, and Ms. Maureen Samumbe, chairperson of COMESA, Federation of Women in Business. She brings women in business. She brings extensive experience. Welcome. Strong leadership, and we hope to learn from your experience. Let me start with Dr. Mebit.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for all the participants. In fact, it's better to say something on the DBE before I come to the questions. Basically, as you know, Development Bank of Ethiopia is the only regional DeFi in the country, working in the country in multinational developmental financial institutions. Basically, it has around 100 focusing on the retail banking segment. Most of our portion, close to 84%, was just basically we used to lend directly to our. We have started financing to the SME financing groups, to the SME groups, and also we used to partner with different developmental partners in our wholesale banking scheme. That is, we're financing close to 16% of the bank's portfolio goes to the wholesale financing package. Under those package, we were just facilitating the SME finance and also through the list of the local banks working on the digital financing package. So we have a kind of RUFI project, which we were within that package. DB used to support the MFIs through their association. We need to create a platform, the infrastructure of digital package, which started from installing the core banking system on the microfinancial. DBE invested a lot. 40 microfinancial institutions have been able to utilize the core banking system of the association. And also through the WEDA project, we were able to finance we prefer those banks having model and a new business model too. Our previous business model were towards to the corporates. Now currently we decided to move from the retail banking to the through time transitioning to the wholesale banking package. That literally demand to have a strong and robust infrastructure, IT infrastructure, and also we need to automate our processes. So we started to automate our internal wholesale banking division, and also that will go through the system of the microfinancial institutions and private banks working in the Ethiopian banking sector. Thank you.
Ms. Melka, does the Zamzam Bank do anything different, particularly knowing that it's an interest-free bank? Is it leveraging digital?
Thank you for your kind introduction. Good afternoon, fellow participants. And can you sit closer, please? Yeah, we are very much dispersed. The whole seems very empty. Yeah. So having said this, to meaningfully address your question, I would kindly ask you to allow me to give the background or the context of Ethiopian banking sector and the whole ecosystem. So in Ethiopia, as you might know, Ethiopia is the second largest populous country next to Nigeria. We are a country of, proudly a country of 120 million plus, out of which the interest-free bank is more related to the majority of the Muslim community. In our case, the Muslim population ranges statistically between 35 to 40% of our population. So in any ways, when we talk about financial inclusion, we can't afford to ignore this segment of the society. So the segment was historically, before the reform, it was totally, I would say, excluded from the financial sector, the formal financial sector, because of lack of the product or the business. After year 2019, as a part to operate full-fledged interest-free banks. Before that, the interest-free banking was in our country. It was served in window-based, and it didn't bring much result. After that reform, with the enactment of the bold policy measure, then the financial system itself, it became dual. Previously, it was 100% conventional. After the intervention, then the conventional system is there. So side by side also, the interest-free banking also came into picture. So within such short time of after the reform, the sector is showing tremendous growth, both the conventional and the interest-free banking. So the growth of the interest-free banking, which we call it Sharia-compliant banking service, is now, it is no more a niche market. In Ethiopian case, because of the size of the population, because of the financial deepening is at low level. Because of that, the dual system makes sense. And so after that, the sector is serving now close to 26 million. We have 26 million depositors who are getting service within the interest-free banking segment, accelerated growth rate. In the deposit volume, also, currently our deposit is in our country is ranging to close to 3 trillion, out of which the 10% is, it is holding by the interest-free banking. So the reason why I'm mentioning this background is because to further, enhance the financial inclusion, though the existing banks, they did much, they tried much, there is still gap. There is still gap, and there is still chance for further growth. So if you ask me as the first full-fledged interest-free bank, a bank which I came from, Zamzam Bank, as a pioneer, what we are doing right now is we are blending both the traditional service with the digital one, because the literacy level is very high in our country. First, foremost, we have to educate our public. Education, digital financial literacy, and awareness creation is very important in our case. So at the Zamzam, we are doing that. So when we do this, so we are trying also, to correct the stereotype mentality which wrongly associates the business model purely with religion. So though the basic concept is Sharia compliance is about ethical banking, about fairness, and everyone who wants to be served with this business model. So the reality on the ground is also this. So as an interest-free bank, we have shareholders who practice other religion, we have staff members who practice other religion. We have also customers who made the interest-free banking their first choice. So it is inclusive, it is open for everybody. So through digital financial literacy program, we are trying to address this, and we are showing quite a good progress. On top of that, taking the latecomer advantage, what we are doing right now is to aggressively penetrate the market using the digital means. We have developed both USSD mobile banking, the USSD mobile banking. We can serve the rural population with that. It is not that much sophisticated, and for those who choose to be served with application-based mobile banking also, we have that option. On top of that also, we have recently developed, in partnering with multilateral companies like MasterCard, we have developed digital financing, which is non-collateralized form of digital financing, which is AI-powered, which is paperless, which is very much, suitable, especially for women in the rural and for the young startups. For the young startups and the women, the marginalized ones, especially be it in conventional environment or interest-free banking environment, they can educate themselves about the banking, about borrowing through this simple, mobile and the digital financing platforms. On top of that also, we have also integrated our old system with the national switch, which is Iti-Switch. We call it Iti-Switch in Ethiopian case. So the national switch gave us, tremendous advantage for startups. Once we integrate our system with the national switch, so offering digital financial services, it becomes interoperable, and it becomes convenient, and it becomes also, less costly. This kind of, interventions that we are making is bringing good result. We are seeing it. Because of such kind of initiatives, our costs are getting reduced tremendously. On top of that also, the customers are also started building confidence to use the services, which were, firstly, they were hesitant to come to banks. And when we avail them with the digital means, they saw, the convenience, and now we are attracting more and more customers. So going forward, what we are planning to do is to more, scale up our services, to more go to the rural side of the country, with the aim of this conference aligns with the rural digital finance and interoperability, not only at country level, beyond country and at continental level, at our continent in Africa also, we can scale it up. So this is what we are doing. While we are doing this, we make sure that whatever we are doing aligns with the principles of the business model. The principle of such kind of business model is, available in African continent, and we can, we can interoperate some of, the Murabaha products across the region. Briefly, this is what we are doing right now.
Thank you so much for that explanation. Mr. Marian, how's the group facilitating access to finance, especially in the digital finance for rural SMEs? And is this helping connect the rural SMEs with broader continental traders and markets? Mr. Marian, that's for you.
Well, thank you, Your Excellency, and I'm honored to be here with the esteemed panelist that is here, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. When we're looking at the question, which is an interesting question, myself as a retired senior bank executive from a Canadian bank in Canada, the digital public infrastructure must, and I say this really categorically, must integrate the payments, the logistics, and the identity. At the AE Trade group that we have, AE Trust interoperable wallet can link rural co-ops to the regional buyers. And this is really key what I'm about to say. Slashing the settlement time from 5 days to 5 minutes. So you could imagine the growth that could happen. So we strongly encourage all policymakers, they should mandate open APIs and real-time gross settlement access to fintechs. If that could happen, it'll foster innovation, it'll allow third-party developers to build upon existing platforms and continue to innovate, which is exactly what the open API concept executes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So very interesting points that we're hearing from our panelists, from advantage of time to access to finance increased, and doing the ethical banking as well, so that we are not leaving anybody behind. Ms. Samumbwe, I would like to ask you, because you oversee COMESA, what are the trends within the COMESA member countries in terms of digital finance, particularly to women-led rural SMEs? Are we seeing a trend, or is there a disconnect happening?
Thank you, Excellency. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As you are all aware, COMESA is really 21 countries across Africa. The majority of the people then are living in rural areas. So this discussion around digital finance for rural SMEs is very, very key for COMESA. The trends are, I think, the same global trends where everyone is speaking about digital finance for rural. I know that COMESA launched a digital payment system, particularly for cross-border traders, and most of our borders are in the rural areas. However, from the point of view of the Federation of Women in Business, we do have some issues that we feel really do need to be addressed. I think it's not enough to follow trends. I think that digital finance for rural women, it cannot be theoretical. It cannot be something that's picked out of a position paper or a textbook and just brought and implemented. It cannot be a one-size-fits-all kind of solution. I think any kind of systems for financing rural women need to be designed with the realities of informality in mind. A lot of the time when we are speaking SMEs in this kind of setting and in this context, we are thinking about SMEs who are probably formalized businesses. They've been through some kind of training. The rural women we're talking about, who are the majority of producers of food for Africa, are probably all operating in the informal sector. And so some of these realities will include intermittent connectivity, for example. And I know that there's a whole session across the upstairs on the infrastructure for digital connectivity. It also needs to grapple with the issue of low literacy, digital literacy, which my fellow panelists have already alluded to, particularly for rural women. I think it also has to look at low volumes, but with very high frequency of transactions. So I'm going to transact today, and I'm going to transact, and I'm going to transact tomorrow. But the cumulative cost of that probably is going to eat into my profit lines. And so we also need to look at transaction patterns, and also to look at issues of energy poverty, because digitization will go with power, energy. So all these things need to be taken into account and not just kind of following a trend. So we as COMFWIB are really pushing for a decisive policy shift in certain areas. We are looking at if the providers of digital finance would really consider some of the issues that I've already talked about, the low volume but high frequency, and consider making their profits from the turnover business rather than looking at transaction on transaction kind of turnover, where the levies, excise levies on transactions for low volume digital transactions could be waived. That would immediately lower the cost of transactions and bring more women-led MSMEs into the formal digital financial kind of system. We also think that there needs to be a concerted effort to get gender disaggregated data, so that we will be able to actually address issues by very, very gender-specific issues, and design interventions that will address these issues. I think it's also really important to look at strategic partnerships as we get into these kind of transactions. And one such partnership is the one that Confib has with the AE Trade Group, where we are using inclusive financial platforms under Sokoku to be able to bring women into an integrated ecosystem that facilitates digital finance for them. I'll end here for now, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. I think you hit on key points in terms of the financing space being new for Africa, the digital financing space particularly, the need for the right infrastructure to happen, the energy connections to be there, and so a whole review of what it is that's happening in that space, so we allow for our communities which are living in the rural parts of our countries to have access to finance. So again, you mentioned the issue of gender disaggregated data, understanding and having the right kinds of data and the right kinds of digital financing instruments is very important for us to learn from one country to another and expand these efforts within our regions. If there are any success stories, this is a follow-up question, if there are any success stories that you particularly feel countries should share and emphasize and learn from within COMESA, can you mention some?
Thank you again, Your Excellency. I think our position is that real transformation is really going to happen when our target beneficiaries are organized, I think, into communities of practice that are built around scalable and inclusive innovations. Innovations like the SheTrades Digital Savings Circle, which is a digital financial tool which has allowed women across Zambia, Malawi, and Kenya, for example, in 18 months, they managed to raise $4 million in savings and unlocked about $1.4 million in microloans. I think that is a really powerful way of doing this. So we create a community of practice and use this to leverage for the women to access loans. We also have another digital platform that we are leveraging to improve the networking and peer learning among rural women, well, women in general, but we want with the inclusiveness of the rural women and young people. The 50 million African women speak, which cuts right across COMESA, but also touches ECOWAS and the East African community. And the target is to reach 50 million African women, to bring them into a community of practice that is working together to learn together and to share knowledge and other initiatives. So I think scaling such impact across the continent really requires a multi-stakeholder kind of commitment, where the governments, the DFIs, the philanthropists that were spoken about so much yesterday, business associations such as the COMESA Federation of Women in Business, all these would come together and create last-mile digital literacy hubs to address that low digital literacy that we have all spoken about. Somebody has to teach these people. So it has to be intentional. It has to be very, very deliberate. And we have started working with the AE Trade group to start creating such hubs that not only connects the women to digital finance, but it also connects them to markets, which you alluded to earlier, but also addresses the issues of distribution, the logistics of moving the products and things like that. And so the tools that are being used are helping to equip the women with skills to navigate the digital markets and also to access finance. I think I should probably end by just mentioning yesterday one of the sessions here was really introducing Asia, the Alliance for Strategic Investments. And we really feel that this is like the right platform to catalyze such partnerships. They would be like the convener of this kind of partnership with the broader picture of reaching so many more women across Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we've taken the keynote that digital literacy is an important part of the component as governments, as we push for the infrastructure to happen. Again, it remains important that our communities are educated, particularly women, and this is very important. So we all underscore that our economies are built mainly on the agricultural space. SMEs have key roles to play, and so to unlock that space, the digital financing, again, literacy, digital literacy becomes very key, and we take point of that. Mr. Marian, again, because we are national governments, we want to know how institutions such as yours are working with national governments in terms of unlocking the space. What can Africa do differently to catch up and do what is expected of it, and how should national governments position themselves to work with the institutions? How should national governments, again, tap into institutions such as yours to leverage and use this digital financing?
I think I have a different question here, Diane.
Please, sir. Connect both.
So what I'll probably do is I'll lead into the question that I have here, and then perhaps we'll refresh that question. I'm able to point out that question. Is that okay, Your Excellency? Very good. So the question that I have here would be is which scalable business models or partnerships have demonstrated measurable impact in delivering working capital or savings and insurance products to rural youth and women-led enterprises? And how can they be replicated or blended into a national financial, I believe that's the question, correct? Is that similar? Financial exclusion. So at the AE Trade Group, the upcoming rural SME e-marketplace loan module. So we've got an upcoming e-marketplace loan module on the Sokuku Africa. Uses transaction histories to underwrite working capital microloans. And also yesterday it was mentioned from a few of the esteemed panelists regarding history of customers that are using the data, that are using the platforms, and therefore generating the data that is created. So we have a pilot project that was put in place with 2 savings and credit cooperative organizations. And the result has been actually outstanding. When you look at the default rate, it went from 8% to 2% by using the module. And that means more clients are able to use the platform, use the loans, generate revenue, hire more people, and the whole circle begins. Because access to capital, access to credit, with credit-worthy customers that have established that behavior will definitely spur, as we all know, will spur growth, spur jobs, and continue to grow. Look, scaling needs about 10 million in catalytic grant, which hopefully will spur more investments going forward. Was that? Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Ms. Melika, again, we come back to you, asking if there are financial products that Zamzam Bank has developed that are specifically tailored for agri-SMEs that do not require traditional collaterals.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency. Yeah. In the financial sector, the major challenges, as you rightly mentioned it, the traditional collateral. So to address this challenge, what we did in Zamzam Bank is we have introduced a flagship product, which is fully digital, and the product is AI powered, and actually we have designed this platform in collaboration with fintech company, the local fintech company, which is called Kifia Technologies, and Kifia Technologies and the MasterCard Foundation. The MasterCard Foundation they are there to de-risk the risk element. So together we have pioneered this flagship product. The product is, it addresses the problem of the needy ones, the rural poor, and the women in particular. Because of that, it has got wide acceptance within short period of time. Now we have concluded the pilot stage, and the name of the product is, we called it Ansar, so the Ansar digital financing platform. So within such short period of after piloting phase, we have managed to disperse like 120 million Ethiopian birr, so targeting particularly, as I said, for the women and the youth. So this is widely accepted, and on top of that also, we have proved that the service is fully collateral free. We don't ask any collateral for anyone. It is, it is AI based, and the credit engine scoring is behind. Once they get the loan, the scoring will accumulate, and it allows them to get, more higher and higher. So the focus is for the micro ones, but gradually they can graduate to upper ladder of the financing. So it is very successful, and on top of that also, one thing which I agree with what my colleagues, panelists mentioned, the failure rate is very low, since the borrower, majority of like 80% of our borrowers are female. So the female they are very cautious, they are very responsible, and because we are also accompanying them with digital education, financial literacy, we have that package as well, together with partners. So, and because of that, so far the failure rate is very, very low, and we keep that. We want to keep that pace as going forward. So, to mention the key success, secrets of this product, maybe I should mention that the partnering approach that we followed made it very successful. And because they support us for education purpose, for the financial literacy, and they will intervene whenever we face problem on onboarding of customers from rural areas. So that is one of the key success factors of this flagship Ansar product. And the other thing is also, when we coined the product, we made it to resemble with the financial services that people are very familiar with. So we made it contract-based, and the suppliers, the bank, and the borrower, the customer, and the delivery channels like ride and other transport providers are included in the ecosystem. It's not only one-to-one relationship with the customer, and it is not only with the borrower and the bank. What we know so far is the direct relationship is with the borrower and the bank. In this ecosystem, the supplier is also included. They have the application, and we, the bank, also we have the application, and the customers also, they can easily download the application, and the transport providers also, they will deliver the item. When we talk of interest-free banking, Sharia-compliant banking, we don't deal with the cash. What we do is we directly buy the item, and that item, since we are asset-based financiers, that item will be delivered to the customer. So this is, it is the first of its kind in Africa also. The Ansar Digital Finance, recently we won award. Our partner, I will expect to, yeah, with the partners, ourselves, and the fintech company, we got an award in Abu Dhabi and the London Stock Exchange of Market. They organized for such kind of innovative products in Sharia-compliant manner. So this can be, easily we can scale it up to African countries. So with that, we can address the rural poor as desired. With this, what I call finally to all participants is, in the morning session, they were asking for collateral-free financing. They were, demanding for a long time, especially in our country, for such kind of, digital uncollateralized financings. Now the time came, and we urge all to use this service and to grow it up together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Those are very encouraging stories and very interesting to learn that the digital space also creates opportunities for credit scores and others to happen, allowing non-collateral based loans to be taken out. So again, the asset-based approach, something that we can share for other countries as well, but we're very proud and happy to see that there are banks that are being innovative, that we have partners coming in to de-risk the space and allow access to finance to happen. Thank you very much. Dr. Mebit, how is DBE collaborating with fintechs? So it's a bank that's been here for many years. This is a new era. What are you doing that is different in terms of connecting with fintechs and expanding services for rural SMEs?
Thank you very much. Maybe if you allow me, before going to your question, I would like to say something with Malika. I'm really proud of you, Malika. When I heard about the success stories of Zamzam Bank, I was just navigating how old was like Zamzam Bank. It was a very recent story when we established at the Ethiopian banking sector, the first virgin interest-free banking. I'm really proud of Malika, and she was really my role model, and also she was really my boss for a long period of time when we worked together at Commercial Bank of Ethiopia. But now I'm really happy to hear about the success stories of Zamzam Bank. And from the financial inclusion point of view, having full-fledged interest-free banking in the Ethiopian financial sector is just for the sake of like creating or balancing the financial inclusion. So I think Zamzam Bank is doing a very nice work on this regard. After saying that, even we have long-aged, close to 116 years old story at the Development Bank of Ethiopia. Unfortunately, our previous practices were somehow traditional enough. We were basically focusing on financing directly to the corporates, and very recently, as I tried to explain earlier, we engaged in a very new financing venture, that's the lease financing for SMEs. Those are very nice stories of Development Bank of Ethiopia. But currently, when we see those issues, we consider them as an opportunity, because when we see the recent developments in the Ethiopian financial industry, digitalization is a very new venture, innovation coming in the Ethiopian financial system. So an only DFI working in the Ethiopian financial system, Development Bank of Ethiopia, has to work more on the innovation of technologies and supporting fintechs, collaborating with fintechs, and also designing a system and a process which can easily collaborate with those fintechs and also other digital financial service providers. Otherwise, we can't address the public. The very nature of DFIs is just to work more on the small group of individuals, not just to create some small corporates. So we need to work more on SMEs, on micro business institutions, and also on some marginalized group of the society. Those are the female and also the youth. If we want to promote the youth, and if we want to have a notion of job creation, we need to tally with our objective, to tally with the interest of the youth, even in the rural areas. When you see the youth living in the rural areas are more closer to the technologies. And they are also more innovative. They are also more technology friendly. In that case, if DB wants to create a job, we need to create access to finance for those youth and for those individuals living in the rural areas. In that case, we can't by ourselves like Zamzam Bank do. We can't do directly to the youth and to the women and to other part of the society. That's why we are just in the transition from the retail banking to the wholesale banking. We want to make us an apex bank, a bank just to create source of funding for the other banks and microfinance institutions. We are a single bank, but we want to play a catalytic role through different commercial banks working in the Ethiopian financial sector. And also we have more than 60 microfinancial institutions, and also we have more RUSACOs. So we need to collaborate with fintechs and also digital financial service providers. And we have a strategic pillar of working more on automation and digitalization. We want to be fully automated from beginning to the end, and also we want to create a network with the banks and the microfinancial institutions which we are partnering. And also we are also very much happy to partner with the fintech companies, having an objective of supporting the rural farmers, the youth, and the female, basically. After that, we will increase our areas of expertise in sectors. We picked these three sectors at the initial stage of year of our new strategic development, new strategic implementation, because we considered when we see the data, the youth are still underserved, the women are still underserved, and also the agricultural sector in the country. We need to work more if we want to improve our economy. We want to work more on the agricultural sector and the agro-processing sector. So we give priority for the sectors, and also we are happy to partner with the fintechs and other DFSs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. This was a very interesting panel discussion. We have, I think, captured the importance of digital finance, how it can unlock financing for our people. For Africa, as we're pushing to transform our economies, it becomes critical that we're looking into what more can be done. As government, we prioritize in creating enabling environments with our policies, push for the right kind of infrastructures to be put in place, and yet we need our partners to come in to help us innovate and also ensure that our people have access to credit. So this is a very important panel that we've had. Growth and transformation happens in our rural communities. Women are key partners, getting our data in place for us to have the right kinds of instruments, the right kinds of policies, the right kinds of tools, again, remains critical. I thank you all for your interventions. Thank you.
And please give another round of applause to Her Excellency Ms. Marita Sowaso, State Minister of the Ministry of Finance of Ethiopia, for moderating this wonderful session on digital financing, a very important and timely topic. So thank you so very much. I do understand that maybe a lot of you would have had some questions and suggestions on this panel, as usual. Because of time and the plan we have for the rest of the day, we had to really cut it short. But thank you so very much. Today has been a really remarkable second day of the third Africa Job Creation Forum happening here at the momentous Adwa Victory Memorial. We've had a number of parallel sessions running back to back today. And so far, it's been a very, very rewarding day. A lot of recommendations have been put forward. I hope you've been able to capture a great deal of actionable points, a great deal of outcomes that you want to try and implement to the benefit of the African youth, women, and rural communities. So hopefully the next round we meet after a year or so, we'll have had those recommendations and those actionable, implementable ideas implemented and taken root in your respective communities. Thank you so very much for the wonderful day we've had. If you're happy, you can join me in applauding for the day, for all the speakers, for all the moderators, and people who have taken a great deal of have made contributions to our session. So moving forward, first of all, allow me to introduce the next day's sessions. Tomorrow we'll have only 2 parallel sessions in the morning. One on monitoring and reporting frameworks for the job creation, which will happen at the Hitachi upstairs. But here in the main Pan-African Hall, we'll have plenary policy dialogue on aligning the CAADP Kampala Declaration and AFCFTA for jobs. So that happens here. So we'll have these 2 parallel sessions. Then afterwards, remember, we'll have an award ceremony for Job Creation Forum champions here at the Pan-African. It's going to be a very, very dynamic session. Don't miss out on this one. And of course, naturally leading to our closing session, where we will have our summary of outcomes, declaration of commitments, and of course, closing remarks from the co-organizers of the 3rd Africa Job Creation Forum 2025. Once again, thank you all very much. Now, what is in store for us for the rest of the day? If I can have the screen on there. Yes. So we have a guided tour of the city where we'll all be part of this tour. Only, of course, for visiting delegations and participants. We're afraid we cannot accommodate the locals because you're always here and you may have visited them all anyway. So we'll have all teams beginning the tour here from the momentous Adwa Memorial, Victory Memorial. We'll take a quick rush because of time, going through some routes. It would be an amazing place. You'll be really spellbound having that opportunity. So the tour guides will be waiting for us right outside. Then afterwards, we'll split into different groups. Never mind about the team number, whatever. There will be 2 dedicated buses for our VVIPs, Excellency Ministers, heads of delegations. So they will be taken to a different route. So, Excellencies, as you go out, downstairs, your buses, special buses, will be waiting for you. The rest of us, there are 4 buses waiting outside right after the tour, remember. So you can join any bus. 2 of them go to the National Palace and 2 will go to the Science Museum. After 1 hour of stay, you will shift. Those who have been to the National Palace will go to the Science Museum and vice versa. So everybody will have the opportunity to be everywhere, of course, except the VVIPs who will be taken to the Ministry of Labor and Skills and other facilities for high-level visits. So maybe on your way out, if you can grab a coffee if you need, go quickly to your coffee. Otherwise, join the tour guides right outside and enjoy your tour of the Adwa Memorial. Yes. Yeah, I said Adwa is for everyone, right? So all of you will start the memorial visit, and then afterwards, it will be about 30 minutes as scheduled, as you can see. And then after 30 minutes, you'll go to your respective buses. Thank you so very much once again. So enjoy your tour, enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you tomorrow early as possible. We start 9 tomorrow morning. Thank you. Have a wonderful tour of the city.